Hello, welcome to today's video. A little while ago I shared on my social media some of my stress chooks, and I had quite a few requests on either a pattern or a video on how to make them. So here we are today. Now I did base this chook off a pattern that is freely available online, and I will put it in the description, the original pattern I used if you'd wanted that. But I have made a few changes and adaptations to it. So I thought I would show you what I've done. So one of the things that I do is I always use an 8-ply and a like a specialty thread. So like this one is a brown, but then it's got like a flecky pink thread with it. What that does is it gives interest to the item, but it also bulks it out so it's more like amigurumi than a soft toy. The other thing I did is I make crocheted eyes, beak and comb. In the other pattern I think there's just a black dot. I always make mine look a little bit crazy because, you know, they're stress chickens. And also I do things like this one. I've given him a bit of a longer neck, whereas this one has a really short neck, and I'll show you how to do that. Other thing that I've done is I've tried to do spike stitches to make it look like the feathers are falling over. This guy was meant to be a rooster with, you know, the ones that have the yellowy colour at the top and the tail. I mean, I like him. I don't know that I showed it very well, but that was just an experiment, something you could do with your chooks if you want to. So this yarn was like a pinky brown, but the specialty yarn had all these loopy brown and copper and pink loops. It was weird. This specialty yarn was Kringle in black, so I had a black 8-ply and then a black Kringle 8-ply. So that's just some examples of the different ways I've done it. I also developed my own beak as well, so I'll show you that as well. So for today I'm going to be using these two. Now this yarn, it's not even a full bowl. This is just an 8-ply thoroughbred from my stash, so just a plain 8-ply. And this one is called Starlight. Now this was available in Spotlight a little while ago, and I like to use this stuff and like Kringle because the sparkle, hopefully you can see that, the sparkle is not rough or can be pulled off. If you use like sequins and stuff, you can't really give it to children, and the whole point of this is it's for anybody, children, adults, whoever. So that's what I'm going to be using today. I use these two together for the body part. Okay. The other things you'll need are some yellow, this is for the beak, some red for the comb, and then some white. I have 2 balls because I use this double thickness. You can, like I do with the yellow, use from both ends, which still gives you double thickness. Everything's done double thickness. And of course you'll need a crochet hook. Now the one I'm going to use today, this is just a 5mm. This is just a cheap Kmart hook. I mean, because I don't use my good hooks if I might be going out, because I might lose them. So this is from my going out stash. So it's just a 5mm hook, no special brand, and a stitch marker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on my pad here each step as I go so that you know what I'm doing. So we will get started. First thing we need to do is to get the 2 ends of our yarns. All right, here we go. It was cooperative today. I've got 2 center pulls. And find the ends together. All right, so first thing I'm going to show you an easy way to do a slip knot. So I've got the short end here. You go like this and then pull through. And that makes a slip knot. See how it goes, pulls itself up and down? Now I'll do that again. So you got the short end there, hook goes here, twist around, and then pull through. Actually, I might do it the other way. I was taught that one the other day. I'm more comfortable in my own way. Like this, twist them over the top. You see how that's like that? Short ends in that hand, over the finger, pull it underneath so it makes a U shape, hold the two ends together, back over the front. And then I'll just put that on my hook and I'll write the first instruction. So the first thing we want to do, make sure I'm in screen, one, is we want to chain 2. And then I'm going to write the second instruction. We want to single crochet 8 into first chain. So I'll show you that because this is a different way to do it. You can do magic ring if you would like. I wouldn't do chains as in chain loops or like 3 or 4 because you'll end up with a hole. So we're just going to go 1 and 2. Now I'll bring this up a little bit so you can see. This is the first chain here. So I go like this, and then we go 1. We don't count the second chain on the hook as a stitch. So as soon as you've got like a sideways one, put a stitch marker in, because we're going to be working in spiral, so we need to mark our first stitch. So that's 2, 3, keep the strings out the right way. That was 3, yes. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right, so that's our first one. Yes, there's a tiny little hole in the bottom, but that will close up as we go along. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so the next instruction is we want to go 2 SC in every stitch, and we do that all the way around. That's my symbol for repeat it all the way around. So we'll do that. So first of all, put it under the stitch marker before you take the stitch marker out, and we go 1, put the stitch marker back in. Got to be quite careful to always replace your stitch marker. Now I'm going to catch these tails because they're starting to annoy me, and I'll show you how I do that. So that's 2 stitches in the first one. You just pull them up and lay them on the top of the work and then go around them, so they'll be encased in the next load of stitches. 2, 3, 4. So I'm not going to show you all of those all the way around. So that's 2, 4, and 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got 8, so we should end up with 16 stitches at the end of this row. Right, so we've done that, and as you can see, my hole has got a bit smaller, and I have encased the ends so they're not in the way and annoying. I've put 2 stitches all the way around in every stitch, so that's given me 16 stitches, which is what we said. So the next, what are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows are going to be fairly similar to each other. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's the next 5 rows. And what it is it's 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet. That's that row. So I go like that. And then this one is 2 single crochet times 2. So that means that had 1. This now has single crochet, single crochet. Next one, 2 single crochet times 3. Next one, 2 single crochet times 4. And lastly, 2 single crochet single crochet times 5. All right, so as you can see, so on the first one we should have 24 stitches. On the second one you should have 32 stitches because we're going up by 8. Next one is 40 stitches. Next one is, just make sure I'm doing this right, yes, that was 40. This one's 48, and this last one you should have 56. Because we started with 8, we have 8 increases. So that's what we're going to do next. Now, I don't think I need to show you all of these rows. What I'm going to do, I'll show you how to do the first row, and then it's basically the same thing, but you're adding a stitch after the increase. And you always start with the increase, and you're repeating this bit at the beginning. We are repeating what's in the brackets all the way around. Same all the way down. All the way down, down, and down. All of these all the way around. You should not have any stitches left when you get back to your stitch marker. So like when you do the last one, like on this row, you finish 3 stitches, there shouldn't be anything left when you get to the stitch marker. When you do the last 5, you shouldn't have anything left. If you do, you've missed something. It's not the end of the world, but do a count and then adjust it on the next row. You know, maybe skip one or move your increases up, or don't do an increase if you've got too many stitches. Just be aware, this is your guide. As it's so dense, you don't have to, people won't see the whole stitches. So as long as it's staying dense and you end up somewhere around these numbers when you get down to row 8. So what I'm going to do is, as I go, I'm going to tick that I've done it right. And I will be back. I will show you this first one, and then I'll come back when I've done the 8th row. So first thing you want to do your first stitch, like so, and then put the stitch marker back straight away. So we're doing 2 into the first, that's our increase, and then a single stitch. So that's the repeat. So 2 in the next one, and 2, and then a single stitch on its own. 2, so that's 1 and 2, and then 1 on its own. And that's all you do. So when you go to the next one, it's just you do the increase. That's the 2 and the 1 stitch. And then however many, whatever row you're on, you do. So if you're on this next row, you do 2 single crochets and then the increase. We're still on the first row, so that's all I'll do. So I think that's pretty clear, and I will be back once I get to the 8th row, okay? And I'll be ticking them off as I go to make sure my numbers are correct. All right, so I have finished my rows over here. And if you look, I'll just pull that out so I'm not going to lose it. It does not lay flat. It has definitely got ripples in it. That is how it's supposed to look. And this has happened because we started with 8. We did not start with 6. 6 is what you normally start with to make a flat circle. Because we are increasing 8, it is buckling. All right, it's meant to. Also, one of the other reasons it's buckling is that we're using a too small a hook for the thickness of yarn we're using. But do not panic. It's meant to work and look that way. Now, before I go any further, it would really help out the channel if you could subscribe. I know a lot of people think it's going to cost you. It doesn't. It's free. It's just the way that YouTube words it. You just click the subscribe button and it lets you know when we put up a new video. It lets you know when there's new posts in the community section. And yeah, it'll help out the channel a lot. So if you could subscribe, that would be great. Really helpful. And I say thank you now for doing it. To carry on, this here is how big the base is before we start coming up the sides. So if you would like a bigger chook than this, so this is in my hands to give you some idea how big he is. So if you want a bigger chook, or chicken, if you say chicken, keep going with this pattern. So you can keep increasing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a row for each of them, and it will give you a bigger chook. I'm happy with this size at the moment, but this is one of the places where you can customize your chook. All right, so the next thing we have to do, we've done all our increases. We want to do rows 9 to 15. All right, so we're doing the same thing. I'm going to move this up because you can't see that. There we go. So rows 9 to 15, we want to just single crochet all the way around. Okay, that's all we're doing for these rows. So what I usually like to do is I go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so I make a mark for each row, and as I do it, I mark them off. That way I know what row I'm on and how many more I've got to go, just in case I have to put it down, which happens. All right, so this is 7 more rows, but we're not increasing at all. We're not decreasing, we're not nothing. And what I usually do when I'm on the straight rows is that I don't keep taking my stitch marker in and out and in and out. Let me just get this organized. All right, it's that side. I'll put my hook back on and I will do my first stitch. So do our first stitch like this, just plain single crochet, and then I get my stitch marker and I put it in the side of the upright of that stitch. Can you see that? So it's just the upright part of it. And what that means is that I can carry on with the next stitch, but also I can get into the top of this stitch to keep going. All this is telling me is where I started going around without changing anything. And that way I can count, all right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So this is another 7 rows, excuse my crackly voice, and I will come back once I've done the 7 rows. There's nothing fancy in it. It's just going around and around and around and around and around. Simple as that. And what will happen, just before I go, is this will buckle a bit more, but then it'll start cupping and make a cup shape, which is what we want. We want to make a small cup shape. Because we're not increasing and decreasing, this edge will start curling. It'll start curling inwards, which is what we want. So I'm going to go and do that. Let's pull that out so I can show you. So now my chook is a cup shape, like I said it would be. You see? It actually stopped rippling badly around the 5th of the plain rows. So around here where the dot is. It's still a little bit ripply on the bottom, but it's not as bad as it was. It's actually smoothing itself right out. So that's what you should have so far. Now the next bit, before I do the next bit, this part here you can also do. You can have more rows, you can have less rows. What that does is it gives you this height of the chook. No, before it comes in and after it's coming out. So you can make this as big or as small as you want. If you make it smaller, he won't really be a chunky chook. He'll be a skinny chook. But that's your choice because you've got to pull him in so he'll get skinnier. You can make him bigger and then he'll be a tall chook. So whatever you like. 7 rows is what I do. But you can do more or less or whatever you like. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to do our first decrease row. So can you see this? I'll move it up a little bit. Yes. So 16. So that's the row we're on now. And we want to half a bracket SC times 5 because that was our last increase up here. Then we want to go SC 2 together. That's our decrease. And like that. and we've got to do that all the way around, and it should give us 48. So it should bring us back to that one there. So I will show you how to do that, because the decrease we do is the amigurumi decrease. So let's bring this down a little bit so I can see. And as you see, I left my marker here, and I've just travelled up, and every time I went past the marker is when I marked off the row. So we've just done that one, so I can move it up and put that in there. So this is one first stitch, put that in there and pull that down. So we are single crocheting 5, and then we'll do the decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so that's you do first. Now for the decrease, you just go under the front loop. That's all, nothing else, and pick up a loop, and then under the front loop of the next stitch and pick up a loop. So we now have 3 loops on the hook. Pick up a loop and pull through the lot. That's what you call an amigurumi decrease. What it does, the loops you haven't picked up, the back loops, drop down and they fill the hole in that you would have made if you went through both loops. It stops you having gaps in your work. So I'll do another one. So we need to do another 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now we'll show you another amigurumi decrease, only under the front loops. So that's 1, and then the next one. 3 on the hook, pick up another, pull through the lot. So you keep doing that all the way around. I'll be back when I have, actually no, what I'll do, after we've done this row, let's move that up a bit, well, for rows 17 and 18, we are just doing the same thing we did there. So that is single crochet all the way around for 2 rows. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this row here, and then I'm going to do those 2 rows, and then I will come back. I've done that, and the cup has got better and bigger, like you can see. So the next thing we got to do is we got to do another decrease row. So move this up so a little bit of room. There we go. So row 19, and that is SC times 4. So we're up here. We're like reversing this. And how did I write it before? It was SC2 together. That should have no. And then you do that all the way around, and that should equal 42. Yes. No, not 42. Where are we? 48. It's 40, not 42. Silly. Right, so that'll equal 40. And then after that, we do another single row of all the way around. So this one here is just single crochet all the way around. So that's what I'll do next. So this is the same as that. Just refresh your memory. Take this stitch out. It is in line. So we'll just put it back in straight away. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then just the front loops only for the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on the hook, pull through the lot. So I will do that, and I will be back after I've done the single row of single crochet. Now after this, we start making the head. So you will also need some stuffing. I usually use just toy fill. You can use what you like. If you've got a lot of scrap yarn, you could use that. You could use torn up material, whatever you like. I make sure it's washable. Like I said, I just use normal toy fill, and I will show you that when we get back, because we're going to be starting on the head. So that's all done. So as you can see, I'll just hold it like this. The sides have come in a little bit, just rounding up, ready to make the head. We still have a bit of rippling on the base, but it's not too bad, and it's a nice height to make the juke piece. So the next thing we're going to do, I'll just get that out of the way so I can write this out. I'm going to put a line down here. So all of this we just did makes the body. All right, now we're moving on to making it a chook. So I'll bring this right up. This is for the head. Right, stop wobbling the table. You need to, from where you started is going to be the middle of the front of the chest, just so you know. You need to single crochet 8 stitches and then skip until you are 8 stitches away from the beginning. Then you need to single crochet those 8 stitches. Now that doesn't look like it makes sense, but it does. Honestly, it does. I'm going to show you that bit first. I know it's not a huge instruction, but it doesn't make sense until you do it, basically. So you pick up your thread. We'll do our first stitch. So that's the one. Put the marker there so we know where the first one is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so we've done that bit. We're 8 stitches away from the beginning. Now what we have to do is we have to turn the work, skipping all of that, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, we want that stitch there. Keeping your thread tight, go into that stitch and make a single crochet. So I'll just unfold that so you can see. So we've skipped all of this, the whole lot, and we've just jumped to the 8th stitch away from where we started. Keeping your thread tight, we do those stitches. So we should have 8 to get us back to where we started. 3, 4, 5, 6, oop, lost a loop, 7, and 8. So that has sectioned off the body from the head. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to make a decision. This way here, see how he hasn't got much of a neck? That is done by, we want, this is for a short neck. Okay, we want to single crochet 2 together all the way around. We're still working in a spiral until 4 stitches are left. Okay, so that will give you a short neck like this little dude. If you would like a longer neck, is this dude here. I'll just get the other guy back so you can see the difference. You see the difference in necks. Okay, so for this guy, if you would like a long neck, we want to single crochet 4, single crochet 2 together, and you do that until 4 stitches left. Okay, so that's what you do. Now for this one, I would like, I might go halfway. So I'm going to go a medium neck. I'm going to do halfway neck. And what we're doing with that is we're going to single crochet 4 together. Should put brackets around them. All the way around until 8 stitches are left. And then for this one, we're going to go single crochet 2 together until 4 stitches are left. Okay, so that's added another row. So my one I'm making now will be between these two. So it will have a bit of a neck, but it won't be as long as this one. So how you do that, and you're working in quite close quarters, so you just need to be aware. Once you start doing this, you don't need your stitch marker anymore, because we're just working in a spiral. We're not doing it row by row. We're doing it until we have 4 stitches left. So for mine, I'm going 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And then front loops only. It's the same as all the other decrease, like that. So you can see your decreases as you go around, so you'll know where you're at. So all I need to make sure is that I stop when I have 8 stitches left, and then I'll do the sharper decreases. So I'll be back when I have done this to show you how to close the head off. I've done mine, and I have 4 stitches left, and I've put my yarn to the outside just in case you're not where I'm at. Pick up the top loops, because these will be the back loops, because all your last row will be single crochet 2 together, and then you do a slip stitch. So you should only do 2 slip stitch, and then I'll just do that one. When you don't have scissors right in front of you, just pull your loop over your object and then pull it tight. Okay, so that's secured my end without having to cut it, because I don't have the scissors in front of me. I'll get them in a sec. So this is what you should have now. Let's turn it so you can see. So this is my little headpiece. Now we want to stuff this now, and you want to make sure you get quite a bit of stuffing in this part. We're stuffing the whole thing, where we want to make sure that this is quite firm. Let me just get the scissors. We have scissors. Now, because I pulled the loop around the whole thing, that is secured, so I'm just going to cut it back here a little bit. And then I get my crochet hook and poke it through at the top as close as I can to the knot. And just pull that back inside, like so. Alright, so that's the head closed off, and it's also rounded it out a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to stuff this, and then I will show you how to, next thing is to close off here, but we've also got to flatten the end out and put the tail feathers on. So I will just stuff this. So he's been stuffed, and he got quite a lot of stuffing into him. You want to keep pushing it down until you can't feel any hollows from the outside. So like here, there's a little bit of a hollow. So we want to push that down. We want it to be quite tight. On the head here, you might be able to just see some stuffing poking through. That means that we've stuffed it well and truly. So now that that's done, and it's made like a, what do we call it? A bent teardrop? Yeah, bent teardrop shape. I don't know what it's called. We want to reattach our yarn. I've just done a slip knot on here. And then we're going to go under, hopefully you can see that. That's the one that holds the last stitch. Those are stretching quite a bit. And we want to push it down, pinch it together, push it down, pinch it together. and we are doing slip stitches. So that's just join those together. Now we just want to do this all the way across. I'm going, if you do this, push your finger underneath and it gets the stuffing out of the way. So now we'll go for the next one. So that one, and then the same one on the other side. Can you see that there's gone under 2 sets of loops? Pull through there and then pull through the loop on the hook. Just make sure that's down again, pinch it up. Under the ones on this side, under the ones on the other side, pick up a loop, pull it through the loop on the hook. And you do that all the way along, making sure to keep pushing down the stuffing so it doesn't get caught in your crochet. Nice and slow, like this. Now, if you find this too difficult, which I'll admit it's not the easiest thing in the world, you can hand sew it. You still have to pinch them together. I like doing as much as I can with the crochet hook. Now, we want to stop, just hold that there. We need to have a T shape at the end here. So if we just push this down, so we want to make that kind of shape here at the end. So it looks like I've got 2, maybe 3 more stitches before I hit where I want to make my T shape. So I've done, 2 already? So I've got 3 more to go. So 5 in total. Squish that down, pinch them together, make sure you're going in the right spot. So it's that one and that one. Pick up a loop and then pull it through both. You do get a little bit of a ridge on his back, but it's not that terrible really. Hardly even notice. I bet you didn't notice until I pointed it out. Let me know in the comments if you noticed the ridge before I pointed it out. Alright, so I think we've got one more. One more, and then we have done up to where we want our T shape to be. Alright, so now we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this point here needs to match up with this point. No, you can't see. This point here needs to match up with this point here. So you just go like this, and then make sure your loop's not too tight. You want to go across to this side, across to here. See that loop that I just pulled out? We want to pick that up and then bring it out over here. So now we need to do the same thing we just did. Do it. What do you call it? Chain, that's the word. And then we're going to sew across here. Now, your loop will try and get in the way. Not the loop, the chain stitches. But you just need to go over that and pick up from the other side. And then we're doing slip stitches all the way along. So you should get 2 slip stitches. Hopefully you can see this. I've got the 4 chain under it, and I've picked up from the other side. So that's 2 slip stitches from the corner. Now our third one should get us to the middle. Pick up that and then pick up that. We're not worrying about that chain 4 anymore because he's hidden. And then on the other side, you should get another 3. So 1 from here and 1 from there. There's no chain in the way, so this side is easier than the first side. Like that. And then another one, that one, and that one. So make sure that's like that. And then the last one is like that. And that gets us right to the end. And we'll do a single crochet just to get us right on the end. So now that's what we have on the back of the chook. This goes down like that and then out like that. What we want to do now, we're going to do the feathers. This is all done in one. Like I said, you can sew this if you'd like to, but you're going to have to reattach your crochet hook to this corner. So 1, 2, and 3. Turn it around. Now we want to go into the second one. So we're not going where they join up. We're going to here. And we go under there. And we're going to do 5 double crochets. So that's 1. And then 2. Going all in the same place. We're making a fan stitch in the same place. 2. Make sure you go through all. That's 2, 3, 4, and last one is 5. Alright, so now you want to do a slip stitch right in the join. If you can get through the back, there we go. So this is just a slip stitch into the middle, and there's our first tail fan, just there, that little tail fan. And then we want to go pick up a loop, and we're going to do a double crochet in the second one on the other side. So this is, and we want 5 here as well. 1, this one is really tight for some reason. It shouldn't be. 2, sorry, I'm wobbling the table. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, and 5 is our last one. So all of them are done under the slip stitches that we did a little minute ago. So that's our second fan. And then we just want to chain 2 and 3. And then you want to slip stitch right on the end of there. Right on the end. Just to join it in. And then I just do 2 single crochets, not single crochets, 2 chains. Cut this, undo that, and pull that out. And so we can hide this by getting our crochet hook up as close as we can and just pull it inside. Keep pulling till it's gone. So that's our little tail feathers. We've got this one here. We do the same thing. Go underneath, come out as close as you can, pick it up with a crochet hook, and then pull it inside. Oh, I feel like I've caught something there. Let's try that again. Try this side. That's better. And you just pull it inside and hide it in. So that is our little friendly chicken. He's all put together. So that's all you need the 2 main yarns for. This is all I have left of the brown. So that would have been about a 50 grams worth of a 100 gram ball. This ball was full, and yeah, I've got about half of it left. So that tells you can use your scraps if you'd like. Right, so that's all done. Now, if you see any little bits that are poking out, get a closed pair of scissors and push them back in. All right, don't use your crochet hook because that will pull them out again. So next thing we want to do is I usually make the eyes next because they're the biggest feature and everything sits near them. So to make the eyes, we need the white, and we will need a black. I'll have to get that in a minute. So I'm going to make some room. There's all these chickens up the top here. This is our whites. I'm going to use them doubled because we want big eyes. I'm going to put him up here. You won't see him now. So to make the eyes, they are very simple. Stop knocking the table, Tracy. We only use them doubled, and we can use our magic rings for this. So we'll line that off. So this is just the crochet part. That closing up part, you're going to have to watch the video for that. I'm sorry. Eyes. Now these are really simple eyes because they don't need to be complicated. I'm going to use a magic ring, and then we want single crochet 6. We're going to work in a spiral with a single crochet 6. Then we want a single crochet 2 in each stitch. That will give us 12. Did I do 1 or did I do 2? No, I think I just 1. So then after that, we're going to a single crochet 2 together till we get back to 6, and then we'll finish it off. So that is all you do. We need 2 of these. I'll show you one. So we're going to do a magic circle. Magic ring, magic circle, same difference. So you go over there, cross, make sure you've made a cross. You go under that one, over that one, and then make a stitch. Now I never count that as my first stitch. I count the first thing that looks like a stitch to be my first stitch. So this is 1. I'm going to put my stitch marker in just so I know where I'm at. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's that first one. Pull this tight. Not that. There we go. All right, so we've just done the 6. We're going to go into here. Trying to pick it up without moving the stitch marker so I know which stitch I put it in. There we go. Undo that. So now we do 2 in each stitch. Stitch marker back. Before I go any further, I'm going to do my little trick that I do so that my magic rings don't come undone. So you pull it as tight as you can, and then I do 1 and 2. Hopefully you can see this. And then holding that, pull it tight so that snugs right down to the magic ring. You see that? That's my little donkey knot I just made. So that can't pull through the loops and loosen up. Always paranoid about my magic rings coming undone. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's those bits. Take this off. Now we're doing decreases. So it's 1 and 2. Pull that through. That's now our first one. Next one. 1 and 2. Pull that through. Make sure you flip this out, otherwise you'll find it very difficult to work. last one. 1 and 2. That. 1 and 2. Like that. 1 and 2. We're just doing this all the way around. And the last one. 1 and 2. And that's what we do there. Now I'm going to cut quite a long tail. And I'm going to take this off. I'm going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch because where I'm at has made it quite high, where I'm at to where I've got to be. And then I'll do a single crochet there. Pull that through. So there we have our first eye. I'll leave that off the edge of the table. So that's what we wrote down here. That's all I did. Use the end of a closed pair of scissors to just tuck all of this in here. Might as well, because that's going to be the closest to the outside. So that's the eye there. We do need a little tiny bit of stuffing, and we also need a wool needle. Let's get that. I'm showing you this one. I'm not going to do the other one in front of you. So I'm just going to thread up. I'm only going to thread up one of these threads. I don't need them both. I'll leave the other one hanging. So we just get a little bit of stuffing. Holding this, hold the thread out of the way, and then use the closed end of the scissors to pack the stuffing in. Pull the excess away so you can see what you're doing. Like we did with the chook itself, the body, we need a fair bit in here. Just keep using your closed scissors. These got a point, but they haven't got a sharp point. Roll the eye a bit so we know we're packing it in there. Yeah, just about done. Want the eye quite firm. Alright, that's it there. Pick up our needle. And all you want to do with your needle is just go weave it in and out all the way around. And back to here. Keep that out the way. And that should close your eye off. Just pull the thread and it's closed off. Just take a stitch. And then a second one, just to make sure it's secure. Always want it secure. Right, so that's that done. I'd leave the strings still attached and just squish and round out your eyeball. So that is our eyeball there. And we're going to take advantage of the magic ring. We're going to set our pupil right in the center of that. But first of all, we have to make the second eye. So I'm just going to go and do that. And then I'll come back and show you how to, first of all, put these together. And then second of all, put them on the chook. So I've done that. Here's my two eyes. You can squish them around in your hands a bit so that the magic ring is opposite where the strings are. Just make sure that it's flattened out a little bit and they're about the same size. Now I've also left, if I can find it, there it is, my last thread up, still threaded up, that's the word. So we just get that. Now first thing you want to do is you want to sew the two eyes together so they make a pair. And the way I do that is I go in near the knot and I come out on the side. So there's the magic ring. I've come out on the side of it. Pull that all the way through. And then you want to get the other eye, and then you put them close together, and then you just sew between them. You don't need a lot of stitches, you just need them connected. So then a bit from this side, and a bit from the other side, not the same side, and a bit from the other. Now I'm just going to slide it all the way down the bottom, and then just do a stay stitch at the bottom. So that's a little bit from both sides, and then back through the loop before it's pulled all the way through. So that's my 2 eyes sewn together. That's enough, and you've got all the strings still hanging out at the back. So we'll just take that off. Now I also got some black. Now this is just marble black. It's an old marble black, but it still works. We just need a reasonable length of that. Reasonable, about 40 centimetres or so, because we want to do both eyes. I don't want to have to rethread for the second eye. So we're only doing it 1 thickness through the needle, but we are tying the 2 ends together. There it is. Tie the 2 ends together. Now in back, I hope you can see this. I'm going to try. I don't know whether you'll be able to see the definition of the yarn. So I'm going to come in from at the back, near where the threads are coming in, and I'm going to come out in the middle of the magic ring, just straight up, pull it all the way through. Right, so there's my knot snug to the back. So this is the bit I hope you can see. Bring it up. So we're going in, under there. Try to do that again. Go this way, might be easier. So like that. Twist around, under again, and then back through the hole. So it's all twisted around the needle, and you're going back through the hole. I'm holding on to this yarn, and you should be able to just pull it through. Go slowly so that you don't get any knots. Well, you're making a knot, but no extra knots. Just go through, keep going, and there. Now, I've always called this a colonial knot. I'm willing to be wrong on that. If you think it's called something else, let me know in the comments. But what you want is I hope you can see that, the knot is protruding up so that it's not going to fall into the magic circle. So then I'm going to go put my needle in, and I'm going to stitch across to the middle of the back of the other eye. Pull all the thread through. Thread, yarn. Stop putting your elbows on the table, and the table won't wobble. One day we're going to get a light framework, and then it won't be wobbly. Got to save up for that. And then we'll come through from the back through to the center of the magic ring and pull that through. And of course it picks up every little bit of string as it does it. Right. So now the same thing again. Hold that. And then we're going to go towards me first. Twist. Back and under. And then down. And then still holding the other end of the yarn we have threaded up. Start pulling it back through, and then take your finger out at the last minute. And that's our second pupil eye. And there's our set of eyes. Looks a bit low there. Just use the needle, perk that up a bit. That's better. So at the back of here, make sure all these all not in the way. We're just going to take a stitch so we can tie a knot. I just looped it around the other one so it will tighten on itself. I'll do a second one just to be sure. Just to be sure. You see, just take a little bit of thread, go like that, and then just loop it through again. Now, because these are white eyeballs, I'm not going to hide the ends within it, because then they'll come out when I don't want it and you can see them. So I'm just going to leave them at the back. We'll just do that as tight as we can and then cut it off short. And that's the back. We won't see that, so it's all fine. And there's our eyes. Now, the next thing you want to do you want your eyes looking directly at you? Do you want them to look up, down, have them crooked? Whatever you like. The first thing I'm going to do, we don't need all of these strings. So I'm going to take one from each side and tie them together as in a surgeon's knot, which is an extra twist on a reef knot. Of course, it's going to go down there where you guys can't see it. Right, so don't crinch them in. You're just tying it off so that you can cut the extra ones away. So reef knots 1, surgeon knots 2. And just cinch it down and pull tight. Now we can cut the extra ones off. That's a bit better. A few less threads to handle. So we've got this yarn here, and we've got this really long one here, left from when we did it before. So we take the needle off the black. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to thread up the longest one, because if I can do it all with the longest one, that'd be good. So just thread that up, and then position the eyes where you want them. Now this is still attached. This was the piece of yarn that sewed the eyes together, so it's attached there, which is good. And get your chooky and think where you want to put him. I'm just going to put him straight. I'm not going to do anything too exotic. You got to make sure, hope you can see that, you should be able to, this is the bump of his head. You want to see a little bit of the bump of his head. Don't put him too high. We're going to get this other bit of string out the way, otherwise it's going to drive us mad. And then you just want to sew the eyes onto the head. So starting there, hold them against him, pick up a piece from the body, and then pick up a piece from the eyes. Piece from the body, piece from the eyes. And you want to stay, the pieces you pick up from the eyes, have them close to the body. Don't pick them up all the way up near the black. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, all the way around. Piece from here, piece from here. You can put a surface knot in if you want as you go. If I'll just do one here. Surface knot just comes through there and then pull it tight. Now we're at the top here. Now we want to tuck the black in so we don't see it, and then keep going around. Make sure you don't lose the top of the head. We need that. We've got to put the comb to that. A bit from the eye and a bit from the head. And then you work your way around. Try and bend the eyes around the head piece. You see how they've got like a bend? That's what we want. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I will be back once this is sewn on and the ends hidden in to show you how to make the comb and the beak. We've got our eyes on our chook, looking pretty crazy. You do need to massage them a bit. Massage his eyes. Move them around a bit, because the stuffing will push them out of place. If you keep putting them the way you want them, eventually they will stay there, because the stuffing inside will compress in that direction. So there's the eyes. See how much they protrude. I can still see a little bit of his head on the top, which is what we need. Now, you can make roosters. You can. But you will need to figure out a bigger comb. Maybe use trebles rather than doubles. I'll show you when we get to it. And you will also need to do his wattle. You will have to look up how to do that. I haven't done a rooster. Mine are all hens. But next thing we're going to make is the beak. I'm still using the same hook, still using the 5mm. Right. So one and two, and then 2 double crochets, 2, chain 2, oop, nearly lost it, and then 2, and then chain 3, not chain 3, double crochet 3, 2, come on, and 3. I'm just going to pull that down a bit so I don't lose the end. 1, 2. Try not to put my elbows on the table so that the table doesn't wobble. 2. 1, 2, 3. How many is that? 1, 2. Yep, that's it. Now just do those 2. And then pull the string, cronk. No, it's the lever, isn't it? Pull the lever, cronk. Alright, so pull that tight anyway, whoever it is. And then slip stitch to the top of the first complete double crochet. And then I just do 2 to secure that. And then I'm going to cut quite a long tail when the scissors cut and pull that out. So this is our little granny square, right? We're going to thread up this long end. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then just bring it back to where the chain 2 were. So that's right on the end. We've got this one in the middle. Pull it tight. And should we do that? Yes, we should. Make a loop, go twice, and then put your fingernail on it to keep it close to the base and pull it out. And then you might be able to see it better on that. It's put a little tiny knot right where the first loop is, so it's not going to pull out. And now the next thing we do is we fold this in half, just like that. And do a little stitch in the chain 2 on the opposite side. Make it a knot. And then we just want to wiggle the needle back on the side to the chain 2 on the side. Alright, so I'll just show you that. So we've got, that's the end of the magic loop. We've sewed those together and this is on the other side. And then we just bring it over to our friendly little chicken here and place it under the eyes. And sew it down. This is your beak. All it is a folded in half granny square. So I just do 1 stitch here on the end, make a loop, pull it through, make sure that's not folding over, right? There you go. So that's done there. And I'm going to flatten that out a bit, and then I'm going to catch it in the middle at the back of the, you see that? Yes, you can. Catch it in the middle at the back of the, what do you call it, magic ring, and do a loop there. So that's going to attach it to below the eyes. And then we're just going to slide across to here. Now we're at the other side. Perk out the beak so it looks like a beak. And sew the other side up. Make sure you bring it around as much as the other one. It's right there. That way the beak's going to pull right in where it needs to. Get that out of the way. Do a knot. So I'm just going to tie these two together. One and two. And then I'll just hide them in the body. Now, the reason why I sew this part up, I did originally leave it open, and what it does is it makes them look like they're yelling at you the whole time. You can do that if you want, but I like to just close that little bit so it looks more like a beak, like he's about to talk, not that he's screaming at you. So that is the beak, like so. And like I said, I'll just thread up the needle and hide them within the body. And then the next bit to do is the comb on the top of the head. And then we're done. So I'll just clean up here, do that, and I'll show you how to do the comb. So here is our chicken, looking very dapper. Now, I have the only chickens I've seen that don't have a full comb are baby chickens. So even if you're making a young chicken, you do need some kind of a comb up here. I've just written on here what we did with the beak. So it's just a granny square, folded in half. The tip of the beak is joined, and then you just sew it on. I didn't think I needed to write out a whole how to do a granny square. Most of you are pretty smart on that. So the next thing you want to do is the comb. Now, if I show you on one of these, all it is 2 fan stitches onto a chain. So in a fan stitch, you have 5 usually, 5 double crochets usually, but we also need space on the chain to attach it. So to do that, we need to chain, let's just work it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5, so 10, it'll be 10, chain 10. And then you want to DC into the 3rd chain from hook. And then you want to put 4 DC in same place. Alright, so that'll make this chain. So they're going like that. I've only put 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to join it to here, and then we're going to do a second one and join it to there. So that's all we're doing. So then we're going to skip 1, slip stitch into next, then DC into, skip 1 again, DC, 5 DC in next, slip stitch into last chain. Right, so that'll give us 2 combs, still using the same hook. So I'm going to give us a decent tail. Actually, I'll give you a really decent tail. That way we've got a lot to sew it on with. Get thinking ahead. So we just chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, I like to work in the back bumps, so I am going for the 3rd chain from the hook into the back bumps, and we're going to do 3rd chain, we're going to do 4. It will give us 5. The chains we're skipping will give us the first one. 2. Still, we're using the red yarn single as well. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then we skip one and we're going to slip stitch into the next one. Straighten that all out. There we go. So that's there. Then we want to skip one and 5 DC into the next one. So that is this one here. A little bit difficult to see when it's back bumps, but we're getting there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we just slip stitch into the last stitch. Got it. And that is our comb mate. Let's do 2 slip stitches to hold it. Give myself a decent tail. Pull that out. Alright, so that is our comb that goes on the head of our chicken. And it goes up here, bring it across, so it sits like a mohawk down the middle of the chook, and we just sew it on. And that's just with our wool needle. And all you need to do is, same way we put the eyes on, get a bit of the chain, get a bit of the head, chain head, all the way along. And that's all you need to do. So I'm just going to do that off camera, and I'll show you the end. And here she is, all put together. Bit wonky eyes, but like I said before, just play with them a bit and they'll come right. There is the comb attached. So I just sewed it to one side, then I folded over, sew the other side, and that way it stands up on its own. And she is all finished, not finished. Yeah, so I hope you liked this little mini tutorial. It wasn't mini, it had quite a few parts, but anyway. Yeah, I hope you like it, and please like and share it so other people can see it. I'd love to see lots of little stress chooks everywhere. And now we have quite a few for our flock. Trying to hold them all together. Everybody get in for a group shot. There we go, all looking at you. And I will see you on the next video. Like I said, please like, share and subscribe. And subscribing does not cost. It doesn't obligate you to anything. You can leave anytime you like. If you can just subscribe, that would help a lot. And I will see you on the next one.